We are glad to have you on the program again this week, Women and the Society, where we bring in women to discuss topical issues in the society, where we garner their experience and use it as a wisdom for other women to enhance their growth in the society and make use of the salient point to grow the society. My name is Charity James, and we are here on the set with Mrs. Mercy Apoyomare Sowande. She is a retired school administrator. You're welcome on the program, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
We are glad to have you on the program.
Thank you.
Let's start from the point of view being a school administrator. What prompted that journey? Why did you go into that journey of building the younger ones?
I initially didn't set out in life to be a teacher. Like any young person, you don't wake up and say, I want to be a teacher. But somewhere along the line, my late dad encouraged me to be a teacher. In his own opinion, as a teacher, you will have time for your home, you will have time for a lot of other things. So I accepted and went into it, and I discovered that I actually have a passion for seeing children grow. You know, they come in at a young age, and by the time they are leaving, they are mature. And I always get thrilled about that.
You said your father prompted you, and you started it somehow.
Yes.
How did you start it really?
Well, like I said, my father encouraged me to go for NCE, and I did that. I finished my NCE in 1982, and I started teaching. I came for youth service at Ibadan. And along the line, as I was in the job, I decided to go for further studies, and I attended the University of Port Harcourt, where I continued in education and English language. After that, I also went to Olabisi Onabanjo University, where I got my master's degree in curriculum studies and English also. So that has been my journey all the way.
What is the essence of curriculum studies to education itself?
In education, curriculum studies is very important. Whatever a child or the children are expected to learn in school has to be spelled out. You know, the children are not just taught academics. They have to teach them all-round knowledge, apart from their psychomotor, and every other thing has to be spelled out. What a child should be exposed to in the school has to be spelled out. You know, a situation where the schools or any school does not follow the laid down curriculum of education, there will be chaos. But fortunately, in Ogun State, I can say in general, in Nigeria, we follow our curriculum diligently, and I think to an extent we are going in the right direction when it comes to that. Personally, I feel it's boosting education because if children are not exposed to this other part of education apart from the reading and writing stuff, we will have a lot of irresponsible students. But then students are taught to be engaged, that they engage in sports. Some are interested in co-curricular activities. Is there you develop their talents, you discover and help them to develop it. You know, so all those things come into play when you're talking about the curriculum.
You are a part-time lecturer at Moshood Abiola Polytechnic after retiring as school administrator in Ogun State and Teaching Service Commission. Why did you take that journey again? You are supposed to be resting now. Why did you go further into that journey?
Actually, I have been doing that since 1997.
Okay.
I retired in 2018.
Okay.
And I've been a part-time lecturer at the Polytechnic, off and on in the General Studies Department, teaching the students about communication in English and all of that. So it's not that it's after I retired that I went into that.
Okay, so what's the difference between the secondary school life and the tertiary? Is there any correlation in between them?
Well, Well, there is to an extent. Students are students, no matter the age.
Yes.
It's just that in the tertiary institution, they are much more mature. A lot of them know why they are there. Some don't, but a lot of them know why they are there because some actually sponsor themselves. But in the secondary school, you find that, especially in our society today, a lot of children in the secondary school don't know why they are in school. They feel they are doing their parents favor
by going to
school. Yes. And you see, unfortunately, even the parents in some cases would have given them that impression. You know, like in the Yoruba palace, they say "Kawi fumi." You know, like this study is for their parents, not for them. So is a major difference. The ones in the tertiary institutions they know what they are doing. They are adults. You cannot actually handle them the way you handle the ones in the secondary school. If you want them to listen to you, you talk to them as mature people. In the secondary school too, you draw them closer to be able to correct them. Because the moment you create a gap, they might not listen to you. When you're coming, they are scared, and psychologically they are not ready for you. So that's the major difference between them.
The other time you were talking about discipline a child, discipline using the cane and communicating. Which one is better?
You have to study the child first. Some children don't need the cane.
Okay.
But some, you have to use the cane. But whichever you decide to use for a particular child, it should be such that the target correction will be achieved. You don't correct to the extent that the child will start feeling that you are wicked. You're being wicked on him or her. So you correct in such a way that the child will feel that, okay, this person loves me and wants me to be responsible. So if you start using the cane on a child who ordinarily you should talk to, you might make the child withdraw.
Okay.
So you first understand the kind of child you are dealing with. There are lots of behavioral patterns in the child. And so if you understand that, you know what and when to correct.
And which form of correction? You are an author.
Yeah.
You've written books.
Yeah.
And that your book is to correct some ills in society.
Of course.
And to ensure that our youth tailored right.
Yes.
So can you tell us why do you think writing and reading is so essential, especially in education?
As a growing up child, I was always very withdrawn. So it encouraged me to look inward. I started writing scripts, not published.
Okay.
You know, I would just sit down and write.
And you keep them somewhere?
I keep them. Some I lost along the line, but I kept a lot of them. I discovered that writing keeps me busy. Okay. It keeps my mind busy too. I don't have the time to think wild. So when I go into writing, I feel very comfortable in my own world. So one of my books, Prisoner of Culture, you see, anytime I wrote that book in a span of about 3 years, anytime I want to write, especially about that story, you know, I put myself in it. And it's a complete fiction though. It's not, I never experienced it, and I never even knew anybody that experienced it. It's a story of a girl who went into marriage with someone who had made it in life, and eventually the man felt that she married him for his money and decided to go the battering way to correct her. You see, if one engages in writing or reading, keeps your mind active. So I feel I want to encourage a lot of people, a lot of children, youths, instead of thinking and start. You see, the rate of suicide is so common these days. But if you are into reading, you read anything and everything that comes your way, anything positive. because there are some negative things too to read, especially in the internet these days. So if you read and you keep your mind active, you'll be focused in life. So because that was what actually prompted me into writing. Now, as these days, a lot of people don't like reading, which is very unfortunate. But that does not stop whoever wants to write to go on writing, because I know with time things will change. If we start encouraging children to read more, I've seen a lot of little kids writing, and when I see a child that wants to write, I always encourage them. I encourage the parents too to encourage the child, because such a child will hardly deviate from the right path. Because the mind is active, the mind is positive, the mind is busy. But when somebody's mind is blank, then there's a problem. Anything can fit into such a heart.
So you are saying there are benefits of writing?
Of course, there are benefits, a lot of benefits. You will not want to write and use tenses that are not correct. So you want to go on to study grammar to an extent to correct yourself before you can bring it out. So for you to write, you must read, and you cannot be a good writer if you are not a good reader. So that's just it. One leads to the other. There's a lot of connection between them. So children should be encouraged to, a lot of parents too want to discourage their children from writing. Your mates are doing medicine and all of that. You are writing. What are you even writing? No, look at what the child is writing. Might just be that child's imagination is being woken up. Because in some cases a child might have that as a gift and might not know, and the parents too might just feel that this child is always to himself or herself. Instead of discouraging the child by saying, you're always sitting down, go and play, encourage the child, provide the writing material, ask him to write what he's thinking, and before you know it, the child will start telling you stories.
While you were talking the other time, you said when you were little he had a withdrawal syndrome. And it affected you.
I would not want to call it a withdrawal syndrome. I was just an introvert. That was just it. It's not that it wasn't an issue though. It wasn't an issue. Some
children have a withdrawal syndrome. Some are quiet. Some are not too loud. Let me use that word. Some are aggressive, and some are just very, very quiet, and you can't know what they think or what they are thinking at the moment. Can you tell us how to deal with children's behavior and how to nurture them to bring out the best in them?
To deal with a child, you must first, like I said, understand the child. A child that is quiet might just be by nature a quiet child. The only way to bring such a child close to you is by encouraging the child. By encouragement, by reward, by gifts. As a teacher, when I was teaching, when my students do well, I encourage them. I go as far as, like, there was a time in the school I retired. At the end of the term, when we were preparing for the vacation, we wanted to engage the students, and we decided that they should have football match between the girls and the boys. And it didn't take much. We just bought pure water, made sure it was chilled, bought a few biscuits here and there, and these students played their hearts out. They didn't have time to play to injure themselves or to fight. They were engrossed. It was fun for them. So if you see a child, you first understand the child before you know what method to use to bring the child out of his or her shell. Because if a child is a quiet type, he does not like open rebuke, and you do that, you might actually be sending the child very far away from you. So if a child is quiet and you call the child close to you, ask questions. Why are you quiet? Why You know, the child might just have some problems at home. It might be that the parents actually quarreled before the child left home that morning. It might be that the mother is a single mother, or it might be that the father too has remarried or something, you know. So if a child, you must first understand the kind of child or what is happening to that child before you can correct. There are no hard and fast rules about it. And the fact that you use a particular method to correct a child, one child, does not mean that it might work for another child. So you understand what that child is going through before you know how to apply your correction.
Mrs. Sowande is also a motivational speaker. Why did you pick the underprivileged women? Why? What is the message you are trying to pass across, and what do you want the underprivileged women to do in the society?
I decided to focus on women because first I'm a woman, and in the course of my job as a teacher, I realized that we have a lot of women problem in our society, especially the girl child. The issue of the girl child cannot be overemphasized. Even the United Nations have a day for the girl child.
Yes.
Like the theme for the program this year is education, equality and empowerment. So you can see that there is need for a focus for the education of the girl child. There is the need for a focus of the empowerment of the girl child and the woman. If we look around, we'll see that a lot of women are so impoverished. You know, they are the ones that sing, dance after politicians. I'm not a politician, I don't have the intention. I just want I want to assist women to become assets to the society and not liabilities. The issue, the girl child too, is very prone to a lot of societal ills. The girl child, if not properly taken care of, will be a victim of early marriage, will be a victim of rape, could be a victim of a lot of negative things that are happening in our society. So that is why we decided to focus on the women, the indigent ones, those that ordinarily will not have access to help from anywhere. You see, some women, they want to do something, but they don't have the access. So we want to encourage them, young mothers, young single mothers. We decided to focus on the women because we feel that if a woman is educated, if a woman is helped, the whole family will be affected. The society, the country at large will be affected. And if, of course, it will create a positive aura in our society. So that is why we decided to focus on women.
And you think there will be benefit for that?
Of course. If you take a woman off the street, a woman who sit down to beg on the street, for instance, teach her a trade, whatever, ask her what she wants to do, encourage her, assist her financially. If she comes back to learn how to sew, for instance, she will make clothes for you, she will make clothes for me, and of course her family will be the better off. She won't need to go begging anymore. She won't need to go sell herself anymore.
Madam, lastly on this segment, we want to ask you to advise our women and advise our girl children out there, because according to you, if you train a girl child well, then when she grows up to become a woman, the society will feel her impact.
Yes.
So what do you think they should do right from being a child?
The very first thing I want to advise is to acknowledge God, because He alone directs, and when He leads, we don't go astray. Next thing is that women should be proactive. They should not just sit down to watch things happen. They should make things happen. Women should be up and doing. Gone are the days where a woman will just sit down at home doing nothing. It's not that she's not doing anything, but the house chores is not such that it should not be a profession. So when you hear women say, I'm a full-time housewife, you know, I always feel very irritated about that. Because if you are a banker, for instance, that doesn't stop you from taking care of your children. You plan your schedule and you do whatever you have to do. So women should get busy. Again, no woman should allow anybody to reduce their self-worth. No woman should allow anybody to reduce their... You are fearfully and wonderfully made. So don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Don't let anybody make you feel that you are less of a human being because you are a woman. That there are places or things you cannot achieve because you are a woman. No, don't allow that. Believe in yourself. Believe in God. And of course, He will get positively busy. A lot of women are busy, but it's not positive. When you go around gossiping, that is not... You are busy, but it's not positive. They should get positively busy in what's in life. Ask yourself each day, plan your day. Ask yourself, today, what am I going to do? And at the end of the day, ask yourself, have I achieved what I set out to do today? If not, tomorrow I have to do it. And don't procrastinate. What you have to do in the morning, do it. Don't wait till evening and say, okay, it's gone. Today is gone, I'll do it tomorrow. Don't do that. Never take things for granted as a woman. A lot of women take things for granted. I went to Shakmon sometime and I saw a woman was to attend to me. She gave her baby to a boy in the next shop. Instantly, the boy started kissing this baby that is less than 1 year in the lips, passionately. I was very irritated and I shouted. And the woman just laughed. She said, oh, he's her husband. That is why he's kissing her.
A year old?
Not even up to a year. You know, I sat her down. And these things we talk about rape here and there. It's not that I'm justifying it, but it starts from things like this. You allowed this boy to kiss your daughter so much because you feel okay. Supposing this child does not marry him eventually, it would have ruined her. Of course, somebody else will kiss her. She won't know the difference. She's just a child. She does not know anything. A lot of women take things for granted. They take life itself for granted. People should not take things for granted. When your female child starts showing hatred for a male who otherwise she had always had interest in, find out why. Because something might just be going wrong. Don't just snub the child and say, oh, she's always naughty. No. Find out what the problem is. That's part of taking things for granted. So, I want to appeal to women not to ever take things for granted.
I hope you've been going along with us on the program this week. One thing Mrs. Mercy Sowande have told us is that we should not take things for granted. Look after your children passionately. Take care of them, noticing one thing they might not be doing before and they are doing now. Report to appropriate quarters and make sure you correct the correctables. When we come back from this little break, it will be time for Mrs. Sowande to tell us what she likes and what she does not really like. Ma, this segment is for you to tell us your favorites. Your favorite color, your favorite clothes, what you like doing, your hobbies. So tell us, let's start from food now. Because we know that you're a Delta lady. So what is your favorite food now?
My favorite food is rice. Any rice. Jollof rice, fried rice. In Delta we have banga rice, we have coconut rice. Anything rice. I love rice. My favorite color is color blue, followed by color pink. Those are the colors
and you're having both.
I actually love those colors.
That will take us to the issue of being a good dancer. Are you a good dancer or you just shake here and there?
I like dancing. I can stand in front of my mirror and dance. listen to good music and dance. Anything that makes me happy. I don't like attending parties. I attend very, very, very necessary ones.
What do you like doing in your spare times?
My hobbies, my number one hobby is writing. I love writing. It's my passion. I also love cooking. I love cooking a lot. If you ask me to cook for you now, I get excited about it. I love cooking. I love entertaining people. A lot of people will come to my house. I entertain them. I love encouraging people. You see, I love encouraging people. It gives me, and helping them in my own little way. It gives me joy.
You've told us about what you like now. What are your dislikes?
I hate people that are insincere. I like sincerity. I also hate lazy people with a passion. I hate nonchalant people. Whatever you want to do, do it with a passion. If you want to be a tailor, be the best. If you want to be a shoemaker, be the best. So I like hardworking people, people that are creative, people that know what they are doing. Those are my kind of people.
But that will bring us to the end of the program. It's nice talking to you, ma. Thank you for opening your doors for us.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to have you.
Thank you. That will bring us to the end of the program today. But remember that as a woman, don't be lazy and don't be nonchalant about anything you're doing. Be creative. Your creativity will show on your children, it will show on your home, and it will show on the nation. When we see you next week, it will be a time to talk to another woman and we'll gather our experience on women and the society. We'll see you next week. My name remains Charity James.